welcome to A Course in Miracles in Practice. We're so pleased you're here to delve into the practical application of the Course.
Think of this as a guided journey, a step-by-step exploration of one of the most powerful spiritual texts out there.
We'll be looking at two really closely related ideas from the Course today, ideas that offer a way to maybe experience a bit more settledness and joy.
Okay, I'm ready.
So first, let's just read Lesson 118 verbatim. For morning and evening review, God's peace and joy are mine. Today I will accept God's peace and joy in glad exchange for all the substitutes that I have made for happiness and peace. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let my own feeble voice be still, and let me hear the mighty voice for truth itself assure me that I am God's perfect son. On the hour, God's peace and joy are mine. On the half hour, let me be still and listen to the truth.
So the core message here, I think, is that this peace and joy we're all searching for, it's not really something external we need to find or create.
Right, it's already ours.
The lesson suggests our struggles often come from chasing after things it calls substitutes, temporary fixes that, well, don't really deliver lasting happiness.
It's like we keep looking for that key, maybe in a promotion or a relationship or some possession, when the lesson is saying, hold on, what you're actually seeking is already inside you.
And that's where the second idea comes in.
The stillness part. Let me be still and listen to the truth. That feels like the how-to, doesn't it?
It does. It's the practical instruction. If the peace is already there, how do we access it? By quieting down the mental noise.
All the daily worries, the planning, the replaying, the ego's chatter, as the Course might put it.
Yes, that constant internal monologue makes it hard to connect with it, that deeper tranquility and the truth of who we are beyond all that surface level stuff.
Which actually leads perfectly into a question we received from a listener. It brings these sort of abstract ideas right down into a very real life situation, parenting.
I was spanked as a child and turned out fine. I always felt loved by my parents, though I did fear spankings. I spank my own children, but my spouse says there is no way to do that with love. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. What would the Course say?
Wow, okay. That touches on a lot. First, it's such a common experience, isn't it? Feeling loved, but also experiencing physical discipline. And that conflict with the spouse is very real for many couples.
It really is. And, reflecting on my own childhood, spanking was present and I never doubted the love. But delving into the Course, it definitely shifts how you might view guidance and discipline.
Well, thinking about it through the lens of the Course, a few things stand out. First, spanking is fundamentally using physical force.
Right.
And the Course consistently points towards nonviolence, towards love and gentleness, as the path that reflects our true nature and leads to peace. So using force, even with good intentions like correction, could be seen as a form of aggression from that perspective. The Course often emphasizes that our actions reflect our inner state. So if we're resorting to physical force, what does that say about where we're coming from in that moment? Fear, anger, a need for control.
That's a crucial question and encourages us to ask.
So the Course wouldn't likely endorse spanking itself.
Probably not directly, no. While it doesn't give specific parenting rules, its principles guide away from actions rooted in fear, attack, or guilt. Setting boundaries is necessary, of course, but the method matters. Methods involving physical harm or instilling fear wouldn't align.
So it's about finding ways to guide children that are firm, clear, but also compassionate, without the physical element or the shaming aspect.
Precisely. The focus shifts towards responding with calmness and love, even when behavior is challenging. Setting clear limits, explaining why those limits exist, but doing so without making the child feel inherently bad or afraid of the parent's reaction.
Making correction about guidance, maybe even healing, rather than just punishment.
Yes, and a big part of that is trying to understand what's behind the behavior. What's the child's feeling? What need isn't being met? Approaching it with empathy, trying to see their world.
Okay, so let's tie this back directly to today's lesson. How does God's peace and joy are mine fit into, say, the heat of the moment when a child is really pushing buttons?
Well, that's where it gets really practical. That affirmation is a reminder. My core peace isn't actually dependent on my child behaving perfectly right now.
Okay.
So internally, you can sort of take a breath and affirm, my peace and joy are mine, regardless of this situation. I can choose to respond from that inner peace, from love, rather than just react out of frustration or fear.
That's a powerful reframe. It stops the child's behavior from dictating your inner state. You reclaim your own center first.
Exactly. And think about the substitutes idea. The ego might whisper, You'll feel peaceful once they obey. Or, you need to exert control here to restore order. That's seeking peace through external means, through control.
Which the lesson says is a substitute.
Right. The Course suggests true peace comes from extending the peace you already have. So the question becomes, am I trying to grab peace by controlling this, or am I extending my inherent peace into this situation? Releasing that need to dominate or punish.
That takes conscious effort, especially when you're triggered.
It absolutely does. And that's where the second part, let me be still and listen to the truth, becomes so vital.
Okay, how does that work in the moment?
In that pause, when you feel the anger or frustration rising, you can silently repeat that phrase, let me be still and listen. It's an invitation to quiet your own reactive thoughts, your judgments, your plans for punishment, and just
Listen. Listen for what?
for a quieter voice, perhaps, for intuition, for guidance on a more loving, wiser response. Maybe you suddenly understand the child's fear or frustration beneath the action. It replaces that reactive heat with a possibility for patience and genuine understanding.
Creating a space between the stimulus, the behavior, and your response.
Yes. And another Course concept that's relevant here is recognizing shared innocence.
Meaning?
Remembering that both you, the parent, and the child are fundamentally expressions of love, worthy of love, despite any mistakes or misbehavior. Seeing the behavior not as a personal attack, but maybe as a clumsy call for help, or an expression of confusion or unmet needs.
So internally affirming something like, we're both learning here. This isn't malice, it's a signal.
Exactly. This behavior is a communication, not an assault. That can dissolve judgment and open the door to empathy, allowing you to address the root cause rather than just reacting to the surface behavior.
And then, even after setting a boundary, because boundaries are still important, the follow-through is key.
Very key. Reinforce the love. Okay, that wasn't acceptable behavior and here's why, but I love you. I'm here to help you figure this out. Let's find a better way together. That teaches that correction and guidance are forms of love, not rejection.
So pulling it all together with Lesson 118, how could someone practically integrate these ideas day to day, especially around parenting challenges?
Well, you could start the day with the intention. God's peace and joy are mine. Today, I choose to access that.
Setting the tone.
Right. Then, midday, maybe when things get stressful, take just 30 seconds to pause, breathe, and repeat, God's peace and joy are mine. Let me be still and listen. Just a quick reset.
A little moment of stillness.
And in the evening, perhaps reflect. When was I tempted to react harshly today? Did I manage to choose peace instead? Even small moments count. It's a practice.
Seeing it in action, then, God's peace and joy are mine helps you respond from inner stability, not external chaos.
Yes. Let me be still and listen. Helps you pause and seek that wiser guidance before reacting impulsively.
And recognizing the ego's substitutes helps you replace the urge to punish with setting those loving boundaries instead.
And affirming shared innocence helps you see misbehavior as that call for help, meeting it with empathy. It changes the whole dynamic.
So really, this lesson offers a profound shift. It's about tapping into that inherent peace and truth already within us and letting that guide our responses, even or maybe especially when faced with challenges like guiding our children, moving from fear to love.
That sums it up beautifully. It's a fundamental shift in perspective, which leads us maybe to a final thought for our listeners to ponder.
Go ahead.
How might consciously choosing this inner peace, this stillness, and actively trying to listen to that deeper truth, how might that truly transform your responses, not just in parenting, but in all your daily interactions, all your challenges? What could that look like in your life?
Something to really sit with, exploring how that shift from reacting to responding from within might change everything.
Thanks again for being here with us on A Course in Miracles in Practice.
If anything we talked about made you pause or think, or, left you wondering, but what about? Just please drop us a line, shoot us an email. We really genuinely want to know what's percolating for you.
ACIM at theworldharmonyproject.org.
That's ACIM at theworldharmonyproject.org.
We look forward to hearing your perspectives.